Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Bullet Sponge Brews. My name is Wilson, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Before we get too far in today's video, I want to just go ahead and say that I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. I know that I did. It was full of good food and great times with family. Now, as you guys can tell from the title of this video, today we're going to be doing an Arnold Palmer mead using Liquid Death. This is not a sponsored video at all. I just do happen to really like their teas. However, Liquid Death, if you want to send me some of that sweet, sweet beverage money, I wouldn't say no. Like I said, I am a big fan of their sweet teas, and so this is something that I've been wanting to do for a little while now. Now, before we get into this part of it, I do want to let you know that the blueberry pomegranate mead is actually currently sitting at 16.2% ABV. Next week, Friday, not only will we be doing another mead, but we are also going to be racking the blueberry pomegranate into secondary to get it off of that fruit. You really don't want to leave it on there for roughly 2 weeks. By then, it's going to have all the juices, all the flavors, and everything out of there, and you're only going to be getting extra tannins, which could throw off the balance of the brew. While we do transfer into secondary, we're also going to dilute it a little bit. That's going to help hopefully bring down the ABV just a little bit, but on top of that, it's going to reduce the amount of headspace that we have on top of the mead. Too much headspace can lead to oxygenation, and we don't want that. It's going to lead to off flavors in the mead as well. Now, for today's mead, we're going to be using 5 cans of their Dead Billionaire tea, or their Armless Palmer, depending on which one you're familiar with. The Dead Billionaire or the Armless Palmer is their Arnold Palmer tea, and so I'm wanting to use that as a base. Now, what I'm hoping for is to brew roughly a 14 to 15% ABV mead. Once we do that, once it's done fermenting, we'll transfer it into secondary, allow it to clear. After it's clear, we are going to splash about a gallon of lemonade into it, and hopefully that will give us a nice 6 to 7, maybe 7.5% ABV beverage that if I'm outside working or I'm mowing the lawn or anything like that, I can take a break, sit under my tree in my front yard, and have a glass without getting completely hammered. Like I said, we're going to be using 5 cans of their Dead Billionaire tea. We've also got 3 pounds of honey. I have got over here, you probably can't see it, but I've got 1 zested lemon and the juice, and then our yeast. That's all that's going to be going into this one. Now, the yeast that we're using today is EC 1118, just like the blueberry pomegranate mead. Do I need something this powerful to make this mead? No, I don't, but it's the only yeast that I have, so I'm going with it. So the honey that we're using today is, just like in the last video, pure raw honey from Brazilian fields. Once again, saw it in the store. Its only ingredient is honey. I picked it up. Should work just fine. The reason I got the idea to do the Arnold Palmer mead is because I was looking through the ingredients on their Dead Billionaire can, and there's no preservatives. There's none of that. So this actually should allow it to ferment just fine. So we'll go ahead and put this to the side, and we're going to get right into it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the honey in there. Then we'll get the tea. So we're going to open the honey and just kind of make it easier so I'm not spilling it everywhere. I'm going to put the top back on. Just put that in there and just go to town. Now, this is 3 pounds of honey. This should roughly give us a 1.104, 1.105 gravity reading, but we will definitely see once everything is said and done. And this is not coming out as fast as I'd like it to, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this part of the video, and I'll be right back with you as soon as it's done. Huh? Oh, I took her diaper off to change her butt, and the second I got her diaper off and moved to the side, she pissed everywhere. All right, everybody. So we got all the honey in here. It's 3 pounds. Now we're going to go ahead and add some of the tea. We're not going to add all of it just yet. Like I said, we'll be adding 5 cans to this. And while I'm doing this, I do just want to once again bring up, I know you guys are probably tired of hearing it, but everything here has been sanitized. Once again, we don't want to add any harmful bacteria or anything like that into the brew. My wife is also off to the side making fun of me because of sanitation. Also, ignore the washing machine in the background. All right, now I'm going to stop here at these 3 cans. We're still going to add the other 2. But while we've got it like this, I am going to take our bung, place that down in it, cover up the hole, and now I'm just going to shake it up. Now what's this? This is once again mixing the honey throughout it and is oxygenating it. Oxygen is good for the beginning stages of a mead or a wine or a beer or whatever you're doing. It's pretty much once you get into secondary that you don't want to be adding any extra oxygen. We're also wanting to do a thorough mixture. Remember, we want all of that honey in suspension because that's how we're going to get an accurate gravity reading. If we can't get an accurate gravity reading, we're not really going to be able to accurately tell what our ABV is. And I say accurately in hand quotes. There's really only so much actual accuracy we can get with it. Apparently, wine and other alcohol companies actually only need to be within 1% of the actual ABV in order for them to sell it commercially. So if we can get within 1%, I'd say we're doing pretty good. All right, and nope, we still got honey on the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and shake this up a little bit. I'm going to fast forward through this for you guys, and I'll be right back. And I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this bung out of here now. All right. Put the funnel back in. Now, before I add the tea, I do want to get the lemon juice and the lemon zest in here. And I also want to get the yeast in here because those are going to take up a little bit of space. I want to make sure that we are not going to be overfilling this and potentially creating a bottle bomb, or maybe have to do a blow-off tube again. So I'm going to start with the lemon zest and juice. Actually, that might actually be too big. So, and it's everywhere. Once again, I would just like to point out that I am not a professional. So, this towel is clean. So, let's try this again. Put that in there. Get that in there. And now we're going to go ahead and add our funnel back, and in goes our yeast. Now, once again, we do still have a little bit of yeast in here. I'm going to crack one of these cans, and because I want to make sure that I'm getting all of these yeasties out of here. Give it a quick mix. And that's going to go in as well. Oh, on top of all of this stuff, I also did add half a teaspoon of yeast nutrient. We're going to go ahead and get the rest of this in here. And our last can. We've got a lot of foam on this, so I'm going to go ahead and just let this kind of sit for a minute. Once we get everything mixed together and in there, we'll see, but we might have to do a blow off too, again, just because of how much foam we got in there. So, well, fast forward through this part, and we'll be right back. All right, y'all. I've actually got to go take care of a crying baby real quick, so give me just a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Hopefully this phone will go down. We'll get the rest of this can in there, and we'll be able to finish this up. Thank you. All right, everybody. So we got the last little bit of the Arnold Palmer added in there. It was actually just a hair under 5 cans. I used the 1 gallon marking on this cardboard to kind of give me an idea on where I was going. I just went up to the bottom of the letters. I'm going to call that good. Now, what we're going to do next is we are going to do our gravity reading. We do want to see where this is currently sitting at. Also going to mark down the date for when we started it. Remember, the hydrometers are fragile. Be very careful with them. Go ahead and put that in there. Get down in there. All right, we're going to give it a couple shakes to get any extra air bubbles off. Spin it a couple times. And we are currently sitting at a 1.106. So this is just slightly higher than our traditional mead. So it's about the range that I actually wanted it to hit. Like I said, we are aiming for about a 14% ABV. That way, when we cut it in half, we'll have a 6.5–7% ABV mead by the time everything is said and done. Now we go ahead and we take this. We are going to seal it with our bung and our airlock. There's actually already pressure in there, so it makes me think the yeast have already started doing their job. So I'm going to go ahead and just set this off to the side. Now, if you guys will give me just a couple minutes, I'm going to pull out my handy-dandy calculator. We're going to knock this out and figure out what our potential ABV is. So give me just a couple minutes, and I'll be right back with you.
A lot of boring math later.
All right, y'all. Thanks for your patience. It looks like after doing the math, this is going to have the potential to be 14.31% if it goes all the way dry. Now, like I also said, we are going to be cutting this in half with a gallon of lemonade once it is done with fermentation, it's done with clearing, and after we've stabilized it. Now, because we do have such a potent yeast in here, we might actually have to go in and pasteurize it to kill the yeast, not just disable them. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. I do want to thank you guys for coming out and joining me today. Like I said, I'm super excited about this just because I am a huge fan of Arnold Palmer's. I'm also a huge fan of Liquid Death. Once again, hey, Liquid Death, hit me up. Let's do a collaboration or something. Also, on a completely different note, my YouTube channel currently is sitting at 51 subscribers. I want to thank every single one of you that have tuned in and joined me. You guys are really, really motivating me to want to do this a little bit higher. I understand that 51 people or 51 subscribers isn't that much, but to me it is. It's honestly it's more people than I even talk to on my normal daily life. So it does mean a lot to me. On my TikTok, I'm at 83 or 84 subscribers. Once again, it's not that much, but that's people that are tuning in specifically to see me. And that does make me feel really good. So I do want to say that I do appreciate everything you guys have done to kind of push me to keep doing this. Once again, thank you guys for joining me. I do appreciate it. I hope that you guys will continue to come back and watch these to kind of see how I succeed, or hell, even how I screw up. This is Bullet Sponge Brews. I'm Wilson. Thank you guys for coming in and watching. Y'all have a good night.